Dr Reena here. I'm a dental specialist and founder of RW Perio, located at 75 Harley Street. Welcome to my podcast, Life and Smile, where we talk about everything dental, lifestyle, business, and much more. Every episode, I'm joined in conversation with a specialist expert in their chosen field, who give us a behind-the-scenes glimpse into their daily regime, career turning points, and an insider look at what they can't live without. As a businesswoman myself, it's so inspiring to hear how people have built their careers and shattered those glass ceilings. So let's get the conversation going. Within the dental industry as a whole, and especially within our clinic, our key focus is gum health. Over the last few years, we've definitely seen a shift on wanting to merge aesthetics with health and wellness. As a dental specialist myself, many of you know that I personally feel it is absolutely vital to incorporate this within a lifestyle approach to ensure both immediate and long-term successful results. I'm particularly looking forward to today's episode, as I wanted to be able to have a conversation that brings together the importance of health, wellness, aesthetics, and business. In season 1 and 2, I've had the opportunity to talk to so many incredible people at the top of their game. And one of those that I've always admired is someone who has effortlessly combined together all of these factors that I've mentioned. She grew up in Sweden and was signed to Models 1 from the age of 17. She has successfully established her reputation within the fashion and wellness industries and is now the CEO of the cult wellness brand Bodyism. It is, of course, Nathalie Schyllert. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
It's so great to have you back at Harley Street, and I'm really looking forward to having a conversation with all these factors that I've mentioned so far. So you've successfully established your reputation within the fashion and wellness industry. You've combined luxury, lifestyle, health, all so beautifully. But tell us, how did it all begin from when you were much younger? How did you get interested in this industry? And then now that you're the CEO of Bodyism, how did that all happen? Because it's been such an impressive journey so far.
Oh, thank you for your kind words. That's very nice of you. Well, being brought up in Sweden, I think, had a big factor. I think it's very much a healthy country, if I would say myself, comparing, been traveling a lot. And I think I was very lucky, being brought up there, having a healthy lifestyle almost from the start. My mum was very much into, you have to eat proper meals, it's cooked meals, and nothing to do with like a low-fat, low-carb diet. It's just healthy food. I don't know if we had organic food back then, 40 now. But it was very much that it was all healthy and good for you. Everything that you ate was to nurture the body. So I think even when I was, in the Royal Ballet school, and it was very much about training 4 or 5 hours every day. And obviously, ballet dancer have to have a specific body type. I never felt that I, had to lose weight. I had a very healthy mindset to food and working out and just getting a stronger body, I would say. And the same thing when I moved into modeling. I never felt that pressure of having the catwalk body, and I was lucky in that way as well. I was with Models 1, who I would say is the best agency for young girls, because they're very much educating the girls why it's important to stay healthy and strong, and just having that support from that agency as well. And obviously I was more the sporty model, I would say. I wasn't the catwalk model, so I'm sure that has something to do with it as well. But I never felt that, I had to fit in that perfect skinny model type. I was always the more athletic one. So, having the background in the dance, having the background in sort of the fitness model type, even if it was high fashion, that helped me then when I moved into the personal training career. So as you said, I started at 17 with the modeling. At the time, it was only during the summer holidays while I was in school. I went to London, came back to Sweden, finished my degree. And then when I moved to London sort of full time, first of all, it was supposed to be for 1 year, and now 22 years later, I'm still here. When I moved here sort of full time, it was very much, taking it day by day, see where my career led me. I never dreamt of being, a big model, which I think also helps because, I sort of tried to study on the side and always thought about the future. And I saw the modeling very much as, having an experience. So I always went sort of 3 months to a place. So when I was based in London, and then I went like 3 months to Milan or 3 months to New York or 3 months to Paris, and sort of explored the country and the cities as well, and got to meet so many amazing people. And I think, having that mindset of using the modeling career as a sort of stepping step has always helped me. So when I was about 24, 25, I was in Miami at the time for those like 3 months there. And I suddenly felt that, I've been doing this for a while now. I think I need to take the next step. I spoke to my booker back in London, and he's like, "You've always been into, fitness and wellness. Wouldn't you want to like look into being a personal trainer?" And he sort of sparked this idea, which I'm so grateful for, because, I always were telling my friends, like, "Oh, you should do these exercises," or "Maybe you should try to change some of these food," and just for fun. So sort of sparked the idea. And when I came back to London, I looked up a personal training course. And by coincidence, Bodyism had just started.
Right.
So this was in 2007, maybe early 2008. And I went into Bodyism, and at the time the founder James was there, and I had a chat to him and be like, "Are there any courses that you recommend? Is there anything you think I should focus on?" And he's like, "Well, obviously you need to take the degrees and do the courses, but I think we can't let you go. You should start as a personal trainer with us. You start as an intern while you do your degree." So literally the day after I started with Bodyism, obviously not training clients at the time, but as an intern. Yeah. So I was sort of learning everything while I did my personal training degree, which was the best learning curve, by the way, because actually seeing everyone training, like we were only a team of 3 at the time in the small Muse house. Wow. Like there was only like 1 little room, and obviously seeing all these amazing members and high profile clients being trained, that's the best way to learn. So within 6 months I started training clients, and obviously doing ongoing education on the side. I went still back to the States doing some extra courses, and just always wanted to learn. But just being there and being hands-on and starting training clients straight away, I think really helped sort of excel my career quite quickly. So I did that for a couple of years, just helping out, being personal trainer. And I always loved finance, always loved maths. So I started to sort of take on a role, I guess, taking it on myself, to always making sure that all the memberships are up to date, and finances are sort of, we kept track on everything. And I started with membership sales. So I started doing the membership sales on the side of training clients. And then a few years after that, I became a general manager. So I looked over all the studios. So at the time we had 4. And then, I took over the ownership. We had an investor, so I took over the ownership when James decided to go back to Australia. And then, I became CEO just before that as well. So it was a very organic journey. And I think now, looking back, I was so lucky that I did all the different roles at Bodyism before I'm now managing everyone in the team, because I have the experiences from being a personal trainer or membership sales, front of house, doing all the things within the company. I think really helps now in my current role as well.
Amazing.
So that was a very detailed.
So much to talk about.
Sorry.
Gosh, that's so inspirational. I mean, as you said, it's so nice how it organically developed. And sometimes when you're at the start of your career, you can be quite overwhelming. You're like, how am I I want to get to that place. How am I going to get there? And you think of, it's a lot to think about. But I find that as you've done, if you think about the next step, like the next organic step, then that will lead to the next door and open the next door. And then and then I guess, as you said, the key point was that you're developing that experience that will then lead you onto, you know, the final destination or more. But you've grown to be the person you need to be for that role.
100%. And you know, looking back, even the ballet, you know, helped me with my modeling. So, for example, I did a Stella McCartney Adidas, the first campaign for them. And at the time, it was very hard to find models that could move. There was all like, you had the fashion models, and then it might be like the fitness models, but you never had anyone with like both of the experience. So having the ballet, being able to do a big split jump in the air, you know, that was very rare, especially back then. So that helped me, like just the movement within the modeling shoots really helped with that. And then obviously with the personal training, having the ballet experience, knowing my body, knowing what works for my body, but then also being a model, doing all the interviews, like we did the interviews, you know, for Vogue, for example, maybe I wouldn't have got that interview as a normal, well, as just a personal trainer sounds bad, but, you know, also having the modeling background, because then they could also do some really cool photos with that interview as a personal trainer.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah, so it's been, like you said, step by step, and then obviously with being a CEO now, having that experience within Bodyism and all the different roles. So for sure, it all makes sense looking back, but when you're in that time and you're sort of in that role, obviously you have to do the best you can, and then hopefully it leads to something else.
It's like
but
the building
you never
blocks.
know. Exactly.
And then when you take a step back, you're like, wow, I've actually created something really impressive.
Exactly.
Going back actually to your childhood, so you grew up in Sweden, and I do agree, you know, you guys have the healthiest lifestyle, and it's kind of inbuilt in you. So it's normal to, you know, eat healthy food. It's not something you even need to think about. Do you feel like that's really helped you now for, for the many years after that? Do you feel it's just your nature that you'd, you know, when you're eating, you do need to think about what you're eating now? Is it just inbuilt that this is normal for me? Because someone who doesn't have that upbringing, it's quite a shift in mindset. I find that you're really thinking about what's on your plate. You're really thinking about how much you're eating. But I guess for you, was it always a natural thing?
Yeah, for me, it's always been natural. So I'm very lucky in that way. I never felt like, you know, having to go on a diet or, you know, ordering a really amazing salad that I feel like, oh, I wish I could have something else. And if I feel like something else, I can. And it's not like I'm feeling guilty about it. I can have a pizza, not every day, but when I have, it's not like, oh, bring myself down about it. So I think it really helped me. And that's something with my kids now. I'm really trying to make them understand that, you know, they can have sweeties sometimes, like once or even sometimes twice a week, but not every day. And just explaining that it's nothing to do with, you know, they might gain weight or any bad thoughts like that. Just explaining that it might not be good for your energy levels. If you have too much sugar, you know, you might crash later. Or using the teeth as an example is very effective. Especially my son is obsessed at the moment that he want to have good teeth. I always think, no, you can't have sweeties every day. So just trying to teach them that it's not about, you know, the weight. I think that's very important, especially with kids that, you know, they hear a lot of bad stories about bigger kids. Like, you just have to reassure them that if you're making healthier choices, the reason behind it.
Yes.
And that, you know, vegetables and fruit and vitamins that give them a healthy inside. And just trying to teach them the different, like, obviously not sitting lecturing them, just dropping things in, you know, that
getting them to understand the meaning, I think, is key. No, for sure. You also mentioned you traveled, so you were doing 3 months, like Paris, Miami, etc. Did you? I mean, because traveling, I find when you're traveling, I love traveling because you learn so much from different cultures as well. Did you find that you adding to your experience, did that also help, like that you were in different countries and picking up different things, or how did you find that, or did you find it tiring with moving around so often?
The only thing I would say moving around often that I didn't find that group of friends, like I have my friends back home, but that's one of the reasons why I wanted to change the career, because I was sort of lacking that work environment and my colleagues, which obviously I'm so lucky to have now at Bodyism, is sort of my second family. And at the time when I decided to move into personal training, my mum had just passed away. So I was brought up just me and my mum. And in 2007, she sadly passed away with cervical cancer. And that was another thing. Like, you feel quite lonely, losing someone like that. And then moving back to London, having sort of your working colleagues again, and just staying at one place, I think was very important for me. So even if you're learning a lot by traveling, it can be very lonely. But looking back is also the experience of, like you say, meeting new people, having, being exposed to different cultures. And, that's another thing. Obviously, we have members from all around the world. We're working with international brands. And I think that's important to have been exposed to different cultures and different countries. I think
makes a difference. Yeah. So CEO is of Bodyism now. So tell us more about Bodyism. So it's, luxury gyms in beautiful locations is a tagline. But tell us more about what it's all about.
Yeah, I think it's similar to my past in the way that it's all about the 360, that we don't just do sort of the exercises at the gym. We also look into if you're sleeping well or if you're stressing too much, what you eat in a day. We make sure that you take care of your whole lifestyle and not just coming in and training at the gym, because then you won't be feeling that much better, you won't be looking that much better, and it's sort of a short-term fix. So I think that's the key thing for Bodyism, that we look into our clients' full lifestyle. We did do activewear in the past, which was great. We love the fashion industry, but that was quite full on the side, because obviously we have our healthy cafes, we have our gyms, we have our supplements, and that's one of the things, looking back, we did a little bit too much. If I'm, having to say we should learn for something. And it's good to focus on the core business, even if it was, I would say, the most fun thing to work on. I love the activewear range. That's one thing that, looking back, we should have focused a little bit more on just the gyms and just the cafes, perhaps. Yeah.
And I guess now you mentioned the 360 kind of approach, but also in terms of social media and media in general, things have really changed. So you've got the onset of digitalization, consumerism, everyone wants everything instant. Do you feel this access has helped and changed and helped grow Bodyism? Do you think that's been beneficial at this time as well?
For sure, it's different nowadays. When we started, if you had one good article in a really good magazine, you got maybe 20 new members in that week. It was a big difference. While now, obviously, it's more focused on the social media, on maybe some high-end influencers. So for sure, it's changed a lot. But one thing that remains the same is the mouth-to-mouth, which I think has always been sort of the main thing for Bodyism. So when our members get great results, they talk to their friends and they bring clients in. So even if it's changed, I think that core part for Bodyism, because we are so small and exclusive still, it's never going to be thousands of members. We never have more than 200 members at a flagship club. So it's very much, friends talking to friends, and a bit like a community feel.
Network,
so it has changed on that side, but the mouth-to-mouth remains the same for sure.
And I guess, from my point of view, I think that sort of that word of mouth is the most reliable as well. It's the most authentic. You can do as many videos, etc., of Google reviews, but then if someone you trust is telling you this is a great place to be, then you do normally, and you see I guess with your clients as well, you see the results visually as well. You see their energy levels, you see that they're more productive. So, and that's the best form of marketing, I guess.
100%.
Do you think that, especially with social media, obviously now there's sort of this health first approach, and aesthetics is important, but it's building in that healthy lifestyle, as you've mentioned, from a daily basis, and building in that routine. Do you feel like with your clients there has been a mindset shift into having that health and wellness first approach, rather than just pure aesthetic body image type side of things. Do you feel like there's been a shift in that as well from Bodyism, or since you started, or what's your thoughts?
A little bit. I mean, it feels like people are a little bit more educated now, and they know a little bit more. If you look back even 10 years, there's so much more information out there, also thanks to social media, but also it could sometimes be wrong information. So that's the only danger, that, there's so much education and so much information available, but they trust everything they see. So that's the only thing. Sometimes you then almost have to relearn them on certain things. They've read about this and they know it's right, and you can't have any carbs after this time, or, and you sort of have to softly re-educate them. So even if it's great doing the research and they think they know more things, and, the willingness is there, it's not always the right information. So, and also it's, tailor-made for that person. So even if it might be a right information for certain people, it might be that person's stress levels, the cortisol level is super high, and for them it's not the right thing to eat a certain food, or for example, let's say caffeine is increasing the metabolism and it's great, but if that person is stressed, drinking too much coffee, actually the cortisol level goes up, and they might build more fats around the belly, and they go out running, which is increasing the cortisol level even more. It's better for them to do yoga, for example. So it's so much, tailor-made. So it's not like, information is for everyone. So that's the only danger, I would say, about the social media information. Even if it does educate more people, sometimes educates them the wrong way.
That's so interesting. I think that is definitely the way, even within medicine, that's the way things are going, very bespoke, tailored to that individual. Even when people ask me, how's the best way of looking after your teeth? Obviously, you have the standard brushing, etc., but then you do have to tailor it according to that patient and their lifestyle as well, and also making it work. Because if every decision is difficult, I guess it then less likely to do it, and compliance is, for both industries, is so important. So, so talking a little bit more about, so you were signed for Models 1 since the age of 17, which you mentioned, and then obviously you were the former ballerina at the Swedish Royal Ballet. You've mentioned about how your experience has helped you for the next step, but what about like from a mindset point of view? So now that you're CEO, you have quite a lot to handle on your plate. Do you feel like the mindset side of things from what you've done in the past, like discipline, etc., has helped you now, would you say?
100%. And obviously being a mum of 3 as well, you have to plan ahead. You have to fit everything in. And, looking back, even with the ballet days, so when I went to Royal Ballet School, you had 4 to 5 hours ballet every day, but you also had the same amount of normal classes. So we normally went from like 8 to 5:30 every day, but then you had homework. So it was very much, you have to plan your time, you have to plan ahead, and it's so important that you're focusing the time you have. You can't watch TV at the same time. So I think now when I'm doing admin, you just have to focus on that admin. When you're meeting the team, focus on the team. When you're with the family, focus on the family. So I think the quality time, it makes up for if you spend 3 or 4 hours on something and you're doing it halfway, you can do it in 1 hour normally. So planning ahead, focus on the things you're doing each time. And the same thing with the modeling. I tried to do the education at the same time. We were traveling. I think a focus, and I remember at the time with the agency at Models 1, it was very much as well, you have to be on time. You have to, speak to the clients in a certain way, because that's when they rebook you. So, some models and some agency, they might be like, they take day by day, they turn up to the job, whatever, they get paid quite well, but they don't see it as a career. And from an early age, I sort of nurture my relationships with the clients to make sure you get rebooked. Having that sort of, I was almost seeing them as a client for myself. It's not just some job I'm turning up to. So you're starting, those sort of professional relationships, even if it's only modeling. Many people look down on modeling, but it is, hard work looking at all the different jobs I've done. It is still very much a professional job, and you have to make sure you're nurturing those business relationships there as well.
Yeah, I think that's such a key point you made, that you're able to multitask, but at the same time, you're giving whichever task you're at hand at the moment, you will be giving it 100%. Because it's very easy to try and multitask and then do everything to like 50% level, and then it's never as good. You'd rather
saying that mornings is very much multitasking. I'm like, this morning, I'm like, I did 3 breakfast, but also cooked the lunch for their summer camp, and then I was answering emails, and so sometimes you do have to multitask. I'm not saying it's always straightforward.
Well.
Yes, exactly.
And I guess that you mentioned about having that to building good relationships with people. I've definitely found that when you're developing in your career and your business, they're the most valuable things, having genuinely good relationships with people and helping each other as well, because I think it's a two-way thing, and there's always something you can learn from someone else, and they can give back to you as well. So and so you've achieved so much to date, but what would you say has been your proudest moment or career turning point so far?
I mean, being appointed CEO, I would say is for sure my proudest moment. It's something that, I was not dreaming of when I started, but I felt I could do it one day. And, it's something special when you work with a company for so many years and you sort of build your career within the small company that all of a sudden is quite a big company. That when you get that role, that it makes you even prouder in a way, because it's sort of your baby, you're grown with it. And also seeing the team develop, there's so many of our managers now that started as well as personal trainers, and we try to really make sure that team grows from within. So it's not just, I'm the CEO, I'm so proud of it, but also see the team grow with me. I think it's so special, and we friends as well as colleagues.
Yes.
And we always try to as well support the managers. So when they have children, that we sort of try to tailor make the roles around that as well, so they can work from home a few days and they can sort of maybe work 70%. So it's very much, we have, I think now 90% female managers.
Wow.
So it's very important for me as well that they feel comfortable growing within company like I've done as well.
Yeah, and by being, I guess, that lifestyle approach that you say to the clients as well. So, that's really, really impressive. So you mentioned you hit it in your morning kind of routine with running around trying to multitask with the kids and lunches and everything else. But I have to say, you always look so amazing. It's effortlessly sleek workout style as well. Within having a fast-paced career, city life, family life, all of that happening. What's your secret? How do you manage to fit everything in? Do you have any survival pieces that you always have throughout the day? How do you always look so polished, even with lots going on?
Well, regards to gadgets, I mean, obviously my iPhone. Without that one, I could not, function. There's things like catching up in emails in a cab to a meeting that sort of saves me, maybe not doing emails when I get home in the afternoon for that half an hour. You're just working on the go, using every minute. Everything from putting reminder me in calendars. So iPhone is obviously a very boring one, but I literally find out if I left my iPhone at home within 30 seconds of leaving the house, because there's always something that I need to catch up on, either with the kids or work. So that one. But also, I think it's important to sort of fit things in your routine. So, for example, we don't all have time to make a shake every day if we're busy, and we maybe don't have time to take the supplements. But if you're doing, let's say, a healthy pancake anyway, adding the supplement to that one, or just combining the easy things. Maybe I redo that one. Okay. So I think it's as well important to sort of combine certain things. So instead of making a shake and breakfast in the morning, I try to combine. So either I put the supplement into the pancakes, or I might make the shake into a breakfast and adding a bit of almond butter and a banana to it. So you never have an excuse of like, oh, I didn't take my supplements today, or I didn't have time to make healthy breakfast. There's always things. It takes 10 seconds extra to you sort of have a healthy lifestyle, and making sure that you're adding things. I think it's just
making
about
it easy for yourself, I guess.
Exactly.
It's like when I say to my patients, if they're struggling with cleaning between their teeth, I'll say put the incidental brush or the floss next to your toothbrush, because you're going to brush your teeth. So if it's there, it's like with your supplements, you're going to make the pancake, put in the supplement with it, and it's easy.
That's the only way I floss. I have to have it right next to my toothbrush. It's a weird thing. If I forget to fill it up, I'm like, it can be 3 or 4 days. I'm like, oh, that's what I have to do. You have to, like you say, make it super easy. Have it there next to it for sure.
What about your wellness regime? What do you have, a set thing that you do in the morning, the evening? What's your kind of usual routine?
Yeah, I'm very much a morning workout person. I find it hard to train after lunchtime. There's something about I just need to get it done in the morning. So obviously I'm very lucky to be based at the flagship club in Notting Hill. So, it's easy for me to say, oh, just fit in a class in the morning when between your meetings. Obviously it's much easier for me because I'm having the classes literally 30 seconds away from my meeting. So I always try to fit in at least 3 classes a week. So it could be either yoga or boxing or bar class. I try to combine them. For my body type, it's good to sort of mix it up a little bit. And I think for most people actually, they do get into, I'm a yogi and I only do yoga, or I'm into boxing at the moment. But I think it's very good to mix things up. And also you don't get bored, you don't get injured as easily.
Right.
So try to fit that in. But also I try to walk to work. So for me, it takes about 30 minutes to walk in. So I try to do that at least 3 or 4 times a week. So walk there and walk back, and it only actually takes 10 or 15 minutes extra than driving in. So
when you're walking in, are you usually catching up on your phone? Are you listening to podcast music? What do you usually do?
Yeah, try to listen to podcasts. I have a few Swedish ones that I quite enjoy, and have to catch up a few episodes of yours, of course. But no, I do enjoy podcasts. I always try to subscribe to a few that I like, and you're sort of excited when they come out every week, which is quite good. But I try not to do emails while I'm walking. Try to switch off for a little bit.
Okay. So that's your kind of mornings. Do you have a nighttime routine before you sleep, or?
I wish I had time at the moment, because my youngest is 5 months and my eldest is almost 9.
Right.
So you sort of put Benji to bed at 7 p.m. and then Chloe at 8, and then Oliver is at 9 now. He's sort of pushed his bedtime a bit later now, especially during the summer, which is slightly annoying because you don't have any
downtime.
So for me, it's literally of half an hour, maybe on Netflix, and then I normally go to bed at 10. So I wish I could be I did some meditation.
So morning is your key time. Evening is relax, family, etc.
Relax. If you could say that.
Relax. Do you relax?
I'm trying to. But I mean, for me, actually working out is a way for me to sort of get new energy, and it sounds weird, but relax. It's like a time for me.
Switching off, downtime.
It's my favorite time. And when people say, I have to train and it's sort of a hassle, maybe they haven't found the right exercises for them or the right wellness routines, because that should be something you look forward to and enjoy. I think that's a quite important thing. Either maybe you don't have the right trainers or not doing the right way of training for you. So
I think that's quite interesting to talk about, because I think people think downtime is just doing nothing, but you can re-energize in so many different ways, and I think you just have to find what works for you, basically.
100%.
And to date, obviously, achieving so many things in your career, it's super inspirational for us and the listeners. But what's your inspiration? Has it been the people around you? Has it been at each point, those who have helped you along your journey? What inspires you, like, on a daily basis, would you say?
I mean, obviously, my mum, being a single mum, working sometimes double jobs, working very hard for us, she's always been an inspiration, obviously. But also, I have a few friends that started businesses around the same time as me, and also had kids around the same time, and we've been on like journeys together. So one of my best friends, Emilia Wickstead, she has this amazing fashion brand. She's also started around 2007, 2008, and just having conversations with her, going through very similar things. There have been issues. There are always issues within companies, and just hearing someone, maybe she's been through it before, or I can give her advice, something that I've been through. I think that's a huge inspiration as well, and a motivation, like we can both do it. And it's nice to be on journeys together as well, and hopefully go from strength to strength.
Yeah, for sure. So sometimes you think you're the only person going through all this trouble, and then actually when you talk to people, everyone's on some sort of journey themselves, and you can share those experiences. Something that's just about talking it out, and then actually you gain ideas from yourself by saying, okay, I'm going through this, how can we tackle this? And yes, let's do it together and motivate each other. That's really, really nice. And then finally, in terms of, obviously you mentioned there's challenges that you face in your journey. Have there been any challenges, or say failures, if you call it that, in your career so far? And more so, if someone was going on a similar journey, is there any advice you would give them? Or if you do it for a second time, what would you say to your younger self?
Well, first of all, challenges. Obviously, we've had COVID, we had Brexit. We also had a fire at the Nottingham Flagship Club the year before COVID happened. So there were like a couple of years that were quite interesting. And, just going through that and taking it step by step, and seeing as well how strong the team is throughout those challenges. I think that's the most important, that the team sticks together. You're having a strong message to the members. And obviously you have to develop. So at COVID, when we had to close, within a week, actually I had COVID at the time in March 2020 when we had to close. And we all had to come up with ideas to do the virtual training. And we started with the delivery orders and, trying to come up with new ways. So even if the challenges, it's not about, okay, giving up, we closed. Like you have to come up with new ways and adapt, like I said. And also I touched on it briefly early in the conversation that I would recommend people to focus a little bit more on specific things. So there was a certain time when Bodyism started, and we got very excited. And like I said, we had the activewear. We started with teas, and then we had the supplements, and it was just one thing after another. And we grew the team a bit too quickly as well. And we got an office, and we sort of had to scale back. So this was, about 5-6 years after Bodyism started, and then after a few years, actually we have to go back a bit more to the core business, and obviously we learned from that mistake, but looking back, I would say that's one thing that I would advise someone: just focus on a few things, make sure it's 100% right, and then of course you don't have to stay there forever. You can develop new things, but don't go crazy and excited and just do everything at once. Yeah,
it's tempting, isn't it, when you think, let's try everything. But it's better to do things with quality, I guess, and quantity.
Exactly.
Well, listen, thank you so much. I mean, what an inspirational journey so far. I'm really looking forward to what happens next as well. There's so much to learn from your journey. I think it's great that how organically you've built to what you're now in terms of CEO of Bodyism. Where can we find out more about, where can we follow any exciting projects coming up, any social media handles that we should be following to keep in touch? Tell us more.
Yeah, well, obviously Bodyism, you have to follow us.
Of course.
We have, always new locations. We just started Bodyism at Di Maris Bay in Turkey again, which is exciting.
Amazing.
It had to close for a couple of years because of COVID. And hopefully a couple of new locations next year. So nothing
Exciting.
official yet,
Ooh.
but you should keep an eye out. And I'm Nathalie Schyllert on Instagram. So we're happy for you guys to follow me as well.
Amazing.
And thank you so much for having me, and you're an inspiration as well. I mean,
that's too kind.
doing so well.
Thank you. Looking forward to having you back at Harley Street again soon.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.